Good evening, gentlemen. Uh, Welcome to our webinar. And I hope we have three attendees here. Just say hi. Hi to Manjeet, Nilimesh, and Puneet. So, before we start, I just thought of just waiting for a couple of minutes so that maybe if we have a few more attendees, we'll let them join. Uh, Anyways, I feel it's quite really unfair for making you people to wait. So let's quickly start the session. So the agenda for today's webinar is modern workplace. So when I say modern workplace, so it's not just a conventional workplace that we are currently working at. The agenda is to just give you an idea on what are the security features or what are the compliance parameters that we need to set in an organizational level when we take up enterprise mobility as a new feature or a new offering. So what makes us go with enterprise mobility? So I feel work-life mantra is what most of the employees are looking at right now. So when I talk about work-life mantra, so what exactly is this? So you have got your office commitments from 9 to 6, and at the same time, you might also have a few personal commitments. So it is quite really unfair when I say at office, you have to only look into the office business. Sometimes you even have to give priority to your personal work as well. But what if your organization does not have a mobile or a mobility strategy so that you can just sit at your home and work without having to just lose your priority levels? So this is exactly what every employee is looking at: work from home, or be anywhere and you get access to whatever you want. Like a lot of people who are on field does not even go to office, so we need to give them, or we need to empower them with tools which make them to access any corporate resource with any device at any given point of time. So this is exactly the mantra of today's modern workplace. So any employee has to have access to his corporate resources or anything that he needs at any given point of time using any device he has. Maybe even if the employee or the company gives him a corporate device, it doesn't matter, because sometimes you even face challenges with the corporate devices. But you also have to have a flexibility of using your personal devices as well and work at your own pace. But what if I tell you that when you give employees this level of privilege, there are possibilities of vulnerabilities. A proper machine is all okay to access the corporate resources, but what if my personal device is infected and I connect to a corporate network using a VPN? So eventually I am going to end up compromising the entire organizational network. So when you give this privilege, what you need to have in your mind is the set of compliance or the security parameters that you need to enforce across your organizational level. So before I take you through all of these security parameters or what exactly is a modern workforce or how exactly that looks like, I just wanted to make it sure or make it clear to you that what exactly are those myths that haunt your brain right now. Most of you guys might have think that mobility is all about a device, but not. Mobility is never about device. Mobility is about providing your employees the privilege of accessing the data from anywhere, any point of time, and any device. So this ensures that your employees keep their productivity levels at their very best. And maybe let's say you work at a 9 to 6 schedule, and post your work hours you got a response from your client asking to give an update on the current project status. But what if you don't have access to your corporate resources? You end up replying to his email the very next day, which is actually not fair. So when you have the enterprise mobility, what you can do best is you can respond to his email on the spot, like at the moment. So the customer is happy. End of the day, you give him a value added service. And this makes your trust and reliability with the customer at a very good level. The second point I would like to point out is most of you think that staying out of BYOD or staying out of providing access to employees' personal devices keeps your corporate data safe. But this is a total myth. So what happens is exactly you keep or you restrict your employees' devices not to enter your corporate environment. But there is a quite possibility that, what if your employees not, properly follow your compliance guidelines and infect the corporate device itself. You eventually even end up compromising your enterprise security, even if you don't allow BYOD. So the next point, right now I said employees can compromise your network. So how employees can compromise your network is, see, every day it's a day-to-day, day in, day out. What we do is like we mix corporate and personal stuff. So when I say this, you might use your corporate laptop for sending an email, a casual email, a personal email. Also, you might even end up sending your corporate stuff using your personal email or your personal phone. So this is like a mix match of your corporate devices and your personal stuff. So when you do a lot of these kind of activities, you might end up compromising your network. One such an example is like, I would say a company has not even allowed BYOD here. So every employee is bound to use their corporate laptop, but they have hundreds of applications they use on a daily basis. So it is quite really impossible for any person to remember 100 usernames and passwords. So what he does is he creates an Excel file with all the usernames and passwords, and he keeps that on his laptop. Now that is one kind of a security threat which results in identity breach. So these are employee mistakes which are bound to compromise your network without even a fault. It is a genuine thing that an employee can save his usernames and password, but that is not entertainable. So what you need to do is what we're going to discuss in the very next few steps. The next one is most of the employees might say that mobile apps can't work in the enterprise. But when you look at it, today in the smartphone world, we have got a lot of applications ported onto our smartphones. Like we use on a daily basis Outlook on our phone, Skype on our phone, MS Word on our phone, and Salesforce, lot of Box, OneDrive for Business. Every application is currently ported onto smartphones. And the best part is every application in the market currently support one or the other MDM platform. So you don't have to worry about your organizational applications will support the security protocols that you're going to implement. They are going to. The next one is like mobility is costly. No, mobility is never costly. It is just like mobility is not about procuring one particular solution or going after one thing. It is about integrating what you have with what you don't have so that you give your employees the flexibility of, accessing the corporate resources any given point of time. And the next one is mobility also raises danger about security. Never. When you have a proper enterprise mobility strategy, all you end up is with a tighter security and with a higher flexibility for your employees to be more productive rather than be bound to the traditional organizational policies. The next one is implementation of control features is the way to secure data. Most of the organizations now currently think that placing up a lot of security related GPOs and putting up a firewall and keeping all your organizational devices behind the firewall might put you up in a safe zone. Never. Those days are long gone. So today you might have seen a WannaCry ransomware and a lot of other threats coming into the modern workplaces. So what we need to do is we need to have a threat landscape which is up to date, and we need to have the security enforcements in place, so that be whatever it is, be it a zero-day attack or be it a known threat, it has to be prevented at any given cost and in the right time. It is not that the system is being infected and after 2 days you get a notification that I'm sorry, your system is infected. No, you need to be informed prior to whatever happened. So we're gonna just casually look at how we're gonna achieve all of this. Is there a way? Yes, there are 3 steps to secure your enterprise mobility. So the first one is protect at the front door. So what do you mean protect at the front door? So anyone who accesses a corporate resource need to have one particular thing within his hand. That's his identity. So without his identity, no one is going to access any corporate resource, be it a corporate laptop or a personal device or be it anything. You need to key in your username and password first. So what if my identity is being stolen? Someone also knows my identity. So what happens now is, I can access my data, but at the same time, someone else can also access the corporate network using my credential and misuse. So that's going to be a tampering which is not supposed to happen just because my identity is being stolen. So when we look at enterprise mobility in the first place, identity takes a major part. Identity is the new deal over here. So what we're going to do more about identity stuff is we're going to protect the identity with a multi-factor authentication. So what if I tell you I key in my username and password and I will be asked to provide an OTP on a phone or on a text message or a mobile application. So along with my username and password, I punch in my OTP and only after that I will successfully get authenticated. So this means that my identity is never going to be compromised. Even if someone knows my username and password, they'll not be able to log in just because I have the OTP. And when I don't key in, I don't. So that's how we protect our identities in the first place. And the other part, I said, there are a lot of user mistakes that's going to happen. So what are those user mistakes? I've told you one example that users might save their usernames and passwords in an Excel file or a Word file. But how do you prevent? Provide them single sign-on. They don't even have to use an Excel file with all usernames and passwords. So all they key into every application is only one credential. That's going to be the domain credential. So let's say you have Salesforce, you have Box, you have n number of applications. You log into each and every application using the same credential, no matter what. That's going to be the point number 2, single sign-on. The third one is advanced security. So when I say advanced security, let's talk about a little brief. So today I'm just logging in from Delhi, and mostly within 15 minutes later, the system gets another authentication request from United States, which is quite really impossible for me to travel from Delhi to United States in just 15 minutes. The system can understand who exactly is the right person based on my previous logins. So it is not just the current login, it reads my previous logins and it takes a decision that, okay, Shiva cannot transfer Shiva cannot move from Delhi to US in just 15 minutes of time. So the other request is, you know, a vulnerable resource. So it blocks the other authentication attempt. So that's going to be the point number 3, an automated response for a threat. Point number 4 is like self-service password reset. So when I say this, traditional organizations do have an IT admin team. So when you reset, when you forget your password or when you get logged out of your account, what you do is you just ring up your IT team and ask them, hey, can you just reset my password? But you know, what do you think, that is it good for your organization and your IT team? I feel that IT team are undermined, and they're going to do the work which they're not supposed to do at all. So what if I tell you there is a separate module called self-service password reset, which will give you the privilege of resetting your own password. So IT team doesn't have to reset anyone's passwords. Anyone can reset their own passwords, which means IT can concentrate more on what matters the most, but not on unrelated stuff like resetting the passwords or creating a security groups, nothing. It all can be happen from the end user perspective. So the next point of pillar that I'm going to discuss is protect your data against user mistakes. So let's say now I have completely blocked out my security perspective in the identity part. So anyone who enters my organizational network is an authenticated user. And the next one is like he needs a channel to access the data. And the channel is going to be a device. So when I say a device, it's going to be a mobile device or a laptop or a workstation, anything. So when you get onto a device, it's quite really impossible to say what happens, because I can't really, I'm sorry, I can't really say this, that each and every employee of yours can steal potential data, but end of the day there are a few black sheeps present in our system who might steal our data and transfer it to our competitors. Our intellectual property will be at most danger. So what you can do best about this is secure your perimeter, secure your channel. So when I say this, what happens is you put up security policies on your workstations, laptops, and mobile devices so that users cannot transfer corporate data to any third-party websites or third-party storage devices or third-party storage locations on the cloud. So this makes it, I'll give you an example. I have a Word document which is corporate tagged. So that's going to be a kind of an intellectual property we have designed in the few days. So what if this goes into the competitor's hand? That's going to be a disaster for my organization. So I tag this as a corporate file, and what my system does is when the user goes into his browser, types in his Google ID or his Hotmail account or any personal email, and when he tries to attach this particular file, it doesn't allow him to do that. Instead, it shows him a warning. This is a corporate file and you cannot do that. And what can he do with that file? He can send it from Outlook, because Outlook is your default email application for your corporate need, and Outlook can understand what exactly is your personal stuff and what exactly is your corporate stuff. So together, device restrictions plus the Windows information protection policies that are in Windows 10 helps us achieve tagging our corporate stuff and personal stuff, so that when you retire a device, only the personal stuff, the corporate stuff will be erased and the personal stuff remains on the laptop unless and until it is a BYOD. If it is a corporate device, it's going to be a full wipe. The third one is detect attacks before they cause damage. So when I say this, just give me a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah, when we talk about the proactive detection of attacks, we're going to talk about zero-day attacks and the existing vulnerabilities. So when I say zero-day attacks, no one knows about it. There's a hacker and he creates a new program and he releases. So not even any organization, security organization, knows about this new threat. But how is your system going to be, resistant with this new threat? So what we do is we set up advanced threat analytics, or we set up Defender ATP, we set up Windows Defender to prevent these zero-day attacks to happen. And what happens here is ATA is a component which can give you real-time analysis of what exactly is happening in your organizational network, be it a simple password reset, or be it a very high change that someone turns off your enterprise server. So everything is monitored and it will give you a real-time analysis of what is happening around you. So let me just quickly take you through quick demos of how things work. So first demo I'm going to take you through is the end user experience. Okay, so I'm gonna spin in my corporate VM. Okay, quickly. For your information, we have built the entire network on a Hyper-V machine that we have, and we have exhausted our resources in such a way that I wanted to show you exactly how an enterprise network works in. So let me just, before going through this demonstration, I'll just quickly show you. So this is a multi-site organizational network that I have created. So if you can see here, I have an ADC Delhi, Dubai, Sydney, and an Azure AD server, a direct access server, an SCCM server, a multi-factor authentication server. Everything is on premise, and everything is interrelated or interconnected to my cloud services, so that this remains a hybrid environment in total. So this is my corporate laptop, which is being given by my organization. So first thing I would show you is I'm going to log into my I'm going to log into my apps portal. So this is the access panel where I access all my corporate applications. So when I say my corporate applications, it's going to be my enterprise applications which are procured by the company, and few of my Office 365 resources. And you can see here, your administrator has requested you to verify your contact info. So I click on verify. So this is the first time I'm being logged in. So imagine that I'm a new employee and I have been given with a new corporate device. So this is exactly the first time I'm logging in. So first point I would like to show you is setting up the multi-factor authentication. So as an employee, I am setting up my multi-factor authentication. So that's going to be my phone number, and I'm going to receive a token on my phone. So let me just quickly key in the token. 38731873102. So if you can see here, I've been asked with my credential, and I am being asked to verify my account, so that even if I forget my organizational account password, I can reset my usernames and passwords any given point of time from anywhere. That's secure key number 2, 8653722. So I click on verify. So what happens now is, yes, I am being done. So I am successfully set for multi-factor authentication just because I'm actually in the corporate network. So I'll quickly show you how do I justify that. So here, if you can see here, so this is my corporate LAN. This switch is my corporate LAN, which is directly connected to my Redmond site. So I am in the corporate network, so I'll not be asked for multi-factor authentication because it is quite irritating when you are at your corporate workspace and you are being prompted for a multi-factor authentication. The second one is these icons define the applications which I am supposed to use. So if I click on Outlook, it's not going to ask me a username and password. It directly logs me in. So this is the first time I'm setting up my mailbox. I click on let's go. So it's going to show my mailbox. Okay. So I'm logged in. And this is my profile. So if you can see here, this is a general change your password screen, but set up self-service password reset is exactly what I'm supposed to do. Uh, okay, so it looks good. So I'm going to quickly show you one last thing. So let's say I have requested for Salesforce application access. So my administrator is going to now add Salesforce into my app panel, and I'm going to get a notification on that. So behind the scene, I am adding up Salesforce to myself. So I have got Salesforce open. And I'm assigning myself as a system administrator. So now from the backend, my administrator has got Salesforce added onto my tag. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to look at Salesforce in the app panel. click on refresh one more time. Okay, let me just quickly sign out and sign in again. Sometimes you need to just what if I do this instead? Because we have time constraints, it's going to take a little more time for the provisioning. I'll just quickly log into my admin account. So this portal is being managed by Microsoft, and the application which I'm going to show you is Salesforce. So, you can easily make it a point that there is absolutely nothing related to Microsoft and Salesforce. So, but I have logged in with my nerdstore.com username password. When I click on Salesforce, it won't even ask me my Salesforce ID. It takes me directly to Salesforce website and gets me logged in. You can just take a look on that. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna try one more last time. Could be a network issue. Okay, it's a network issue before. So what happened here is it used the same ID that I have used for nerdstore.com, and it logged me into Salesforce. My apologies, the network is quite really slow over here. So let me click on yes. So you can see here, this is my Salesforce application, and it's already logged in with my ID. So that's going to be the end of identity protection part. And the next one I'm going to show you is this file is a corporate file, or let's say we create a new file. So I'm going to go new, I'm going to put MS Word document, and by default I haven't set the policy over here just to make sure you understand what exactly system does. So when I create a new file, system will automatically assign the ownership to corporate, but I just wanted to show you personal stuff and corporate stuff, so I'm tagging it manual. So now this file has been classified as my work stuff. So when I classify this file as work, I go on to a new email. I'm trying to attach this file which is on my computer. So this is my desktop, and this is the file which I set gives me a warning. Your organization doesn't allow you to use work content over here. But at the same time, to go on to my OneDrive for Business, okay, let me go on to my Access panel. Here I'll get my OneDrive for Business, OneDrive, so that I can directly log into my OneDrive without having to sign in. I can upload the same file over here. Okay. So what happens over here is it's going to allow you to upload the data onto your OneDrive, but not onto your any one of your personal stuff. So this is going to be Windows information protection. Apart from this, there are a lot of other features that I'm going to show you, but one feature which I wanted to demonstrate is direct access. So how many of you have a VPN client installed on your computer so that you connect to your corporate machines? A lot. So most of us use, a kind of client-based VPN tools so that we connect to a corporate network. So what I'm going to show you right now is something different. So if you can see here, it's been connected to my network, organizational network, but because this laptop is not being domain joined, it won't show you a domain network until and unless I join the device. So let me quickly join the device, and once I join the device, I'll update the group policy. Come on, don't take long. Okay. Okay, I'll restart later. 20. So if you can see now, it's turned out into my organizational domain network, which is nerdstore.com. So I'm going to quickly try gp update /force. Okay, I'll have to restart the machine. I'll quickly restart the machine. Reconnect, and in the meanwhile, I'll quickly go into my primary domain controller. I'm going to add this computer to the direct access group. And I'm back on my corporate device. All good. So gonna go into my other user. I'm gonna actually key in my domain credential. Okay, in the meanwhile, I'm gonna show you a little brief about the direct access setup we have got. So this is the direct access server, which is the backbone of the entire clientless VPN connectivity which I have routed into my organizational network. So if you can see here, this is my direct access server, and any client which is connecting can be seen over here. So what happens over here is our server uses a technology called direct access, which routes any of the client without the need of a conventional client-based VPN access. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate how that works using my client machine. Okay, this is going to be my corporate machine. I'm back online. So I'm going to go full mode. If you can see here, this is connected to my corporate nordstore.com, and I'm logged in as a domain user. I go into command prompt and GP update by force. So before running the GP update, I want to quickly show you there is nothing in my network. Okay, it's already updated. So before it was Nerdstore, and now it is Nerdstore Corp, which is the actual direct access. I didn't even run GP update. This was so really quick. If you can see here, I am directly connected through the corporate network. So it shows connected to network locally or through VPN. So if I switch my network, so safely I'm going to add another network adapter. I click OK. And before I go, because I cannot change the profile, that's going to hamper the entire IP infrastructure over here. So what I'm going to quickly do is go into control panel. Come on, be quick. Go into control panel. Open internet, open sharing center, adapter settings. So this one is not stored. I'm going to quickly disable, which exactly means I shut down my computer and I'm going home. So I've got home and I am now connecting on to my other network, which is my home network. For this network, we have even got IPv6 connectivity, which is the next future. So you can see here, I have got my IPv4 address and my IPv6 address properly configured. So now I'm going to show you. I am connected on my home network. So in order to virtualize that, this is my 192 series, which is my home network. And my direct access will already start talking to my domain network. So it attempts to connect to my local domain and it gets all the details and it gives me a VPN access without actually having a VPN client. You can see here, it's going to be a little slow because the entire virtualization, but this is how the process exactly works out. On a real time, this is going to be real quick. You don't even have to wait this long. It's just when you disconnect from your corporate network and you connect back to your home network, it switches over. So I'm gonna go into my CMD before I can show you the tunnel settings. Come on, running out of time. Okay. So if you can see here, where is it? So this is my primary secondary Ethernet connection which I have connected right now. You can see this is my IPv6 address and this is my IPv4 address, and this is my IPv6 pseudo tunnel interface, and this is the direct access which I was talking about. And this has even allocated an IPv6 address for the same. So let's say I am trying to ping my 10.0.0.2, which is my domain controller. It gives me a response. And I can even access my corporate devices being out of office 0.2 by $C. Let's say. So this is my primary domain controller. See, I'm at my home and I didn't even use a VPN connectivity. And then we have something called SCCM, which is my hybrid MDM management console. So I log in as my SCCM_admin, and then I give my password. See, when we talk about everything over here, all I have done is integrated each and every component available in Windows 10 or with Windows Microsoft SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager, or with Azure Active Directory, or with Direct Access. Everything is like Direct Access is available right in your pocket. All you have to do is like spin up a server and configure the routing and remote access management module. Most of us know, but no one gets implementing, because one way or the other we are accustomed to the traditional ways. But when you have a better way, why don't you use it, is my kind of a concept. So what we do here is I quickly go into my remote SCCM configuration manager console. Sorry, I think, yeah. So let the SCCM dashboard power up. In the meanwhile, I'll also show you another interesting feature which I have done. Update, not really now. We'll see that later. Okay, this is my SCCM console where I'll have my user. So here I can see all of my users, organizational users, and in the devices field I can see all of my devices. These are the devices which I've spinned up just for this purpose. And then I have compliance settings, my endpoint settings, then I'll have my software application management, updates, operating systems, the latest Windows 10 servicing, and the client management software. And then I have my monitoring, which is active, a proactive monitoring, which gives me in and out of my organizational network what exactly happens. Like, is there any problem with the deployments? Are the computers compliant? Anything. And what I've done in a better way is I have integrated uh, I have integrated something in my Power BI dashboard. So I'm going to quickly show you. Okay. I hope you can see the Power BI dashboard. So on the screen, I can see how many clients are present. This is just an integration that I've done on Power BI, being a complete noob on Power BI. So I can see my whole devices, a list of devices, how many are compliant. And when I click on each and everything, the other readings might change because that's going to give me the readings based on the selections which I make. And then I go into the workstation breakup, so which gives me how many computers I do have. If I go into the Lenovo, again the readings change. If we go into the HP, again the readings change, because that's going to affect one way or the other. And I'm going to select the installation date. So based on the installation date, I get real-time data. So this is a quick implementation of integrating your SCCM dashboard with your Power BI. And then I have Windows 10. So all I can see is like how many computers, is it like business ready, expiring soon, what kind of an update they have, are they compliant, how many are updated, how many people have logged into the machines, what timing, and then I have my server breakdown. So how many of them are powered up, any problems with the server, everything. Then I have client health, how many computers have responded over the last 2 months, last 2 weeks, last 3 months, past week. So inactive computers. See, when I just click on these, pretty little fields, the value changes. I can see on my screen how many computers are directly inactive. It is just the integration that you need to do. I'm quickly going back onto my screen number 1, which takes me through this. Unfortunately, we have ended up with a very little time. I'm going to quickly wrap up. So most of the organizations we are on cloud nowadays. You either have Office 365 or any other cloud software, but do we really know that we can actually do business reviews from virtual anywhere using Office applications? Have you tried implementing this? So the first step is like go mobile. This is a very basic application that we do on every day. Skype for Business, or a communicator that we know each other from a long time. But how many do we use Skype for Business for a meeting on a virtual anywhere location? Like I sit at my home and I attend a Skype for Business meeting just to make sure my business reviews are on. So for that, even you need to have Go Mobile mobility strategy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to quickly end up the presentation. Let's just have one-on-one, any questions you can shoot me up, and I'm going to then put up a poll so that, I need to collect a few data from you so that we have to have an understanding of what exactly is your understanding of enterprise mobility. So any questions, you can just go into your, the dashboard and shoot me up. I'm going to wait for your questions. Okay, I'm gonna quickly put the poll. Right, this is the next question for the poll. All right, that's going to be the end of today's webinar, and I really thank you everyone for your participation for today. And do reach out to us to know more about our initiatives in enterprise mobility and what MB can offer you as uh, a partner. And if you do have a question, do reach out to me, and we'll get back to you as well. And if you do have any questions, you can still raise up a question. I mean, raise up your hand, or put the question. All right. So to reach out to us on MB's official email address and LinkedIn, that's going to be sivaganesh.and@mb.co.in, or you can even get in touch with us by using the webinar details page, and we'll get back to you, or we'll get in touch with you for defining your enterprise mobility strategies. Thank you for your participation. Good day.